What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Actually, welcome to the first episode of Boleros in 2026. Happy
Happy
New
New
Year to everyone.
Year!
Hey everyone.
Sana nag-enjoy kayo sa bakasyon nyo, sa holiday. So bago tayo bumalik sa work next week, mag-podcast muna tayo. Let's do an episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gab, Lim, and Mr. Maui Yap. Kamusta naman ang bakasyon yung dalawa?
Daming kainan.
Daming kainan. Daming kainan.
Yun.
Wala nang basketball para yung masama yung pagkain eh. So, yung stress levels baba yung pag kumakain na. So, we're not losing those calories from stress. So, we're gaining a lot more.
Yep.
Diba?
Kailangan natin ng gym sponsorship ulit. Parang dati.
Baka naman, meron dyan.
Baka! Kahit gym bakal pa yan, ipopromote namin.
Pwede,
Oo.
pwede.
Oo. Yung game ako mag-gym bakal. Kahit anong gym, pupuntahan ko yan. Ipopromote ko yan.
Sa mga bakal gym owners yan, you know how to reach out to us. Send us a message on Instagram or comment down below. For today's episode, we'll do our awards recap, no? So every year at the end of the season, we always do our own Boleros awards. So we'll do traditional awards, Gab, like MVP, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year. But we'll have our own special awards na I think you listed some down later. We'll talk more about them. So for those listening, comment down below your picks for each award. We'll go through it. We'll give our winners each, and then we'll move on to the next. No, okay. Let's get started. So let's start with the traditional awards. Let's pick our Boleros MVP, and etong Boleros MVP can be anyone. Doesn't matter anong statistical points mo or whatever. It could be whoever you want to pick.
Foreigner man o Pilipino?
Foreigner man o Pilipino. Yes, correct. Okay, let's get started with you, the Sultan of Sando. Sino ang MVP mo?
I think I've been harping on this since our last few episodes of season 88. And ever since the regular season ended, actually even before the regular season ended, I've picked him as the MVP. It's Jake Figueroa, who got the bag, got the KBL contract, deservedly so. He was amazing this season. Clutch shots, taking over games, the improved mid-range and outside shot, the improved free throw stroke, the improved playmaking, the improved handles, definitely worked on his game. Was the unquestioned leader of the NU Bulldogs throughout the entire season. Was in the running for the statistical points MVP until the last game where he was rested in the second half, or he was not yung put back in the final quarters of that game versus UST. But with all taking it all in into account, the narrative, the record of the team, NU was number one throughout the whole elimination round. I think since the start was, hindi naman since the start, since close to the start of the season, they've been number one and they've stayed at number one. I think it should go to Jake Figueroa. He upped his averages in nearly every statistical category. He brought it on both ends of the floor. I think that is something pretty important in what we consider for MVP. You know, he can't be just a one-sided player na puro offense lang and then on defense yung gives back the points. No, it can't be someone like that. But he brings it on both ends of the floor. He's a terror yung defensively, can guard yung multiple positions, averages a lot of stocks, mostly steals, takes on the most difficult assignments during games. And when they need him the most to get baskets, he delivers. So stats-wise, he's there.
Guy. Siya pa yung go-to guy.
Stats-wise, he's definitely there. The narrative, bringing NU to something that they've never been before in the 2020s to a number one seed to a twice to beat advantage. They've never had that before in the 2020s. Yung last time siguro was season 76 when they were the number one seed also. But this was an amazing season from Jake Figueroa. I think Maui, you were the one who compared him to a 30-esque transformation because that's really how he played. You know, all around.
True.
He wasn't just a scorer. He wasn't just a lockdown defender. He wasn't just a playmaker. He was doing it all. He was getting rebounds. He was distributing to his teammates. He was running pick and roll. Sometimes he would be the off-ball shooter. He was doing everything for this NU team. Unfortunately, the season ended by them losing two in the Final Four. I guess that's the only black mark that you can have on Jake Figueroa's record for this season 88. But all in all, I think you really have to give it to him. And the KBL scouts definitely recognize that, and he's on his way. I think has he played already? I'm not sure, but I think he's
Wala pa, I think. I think
oh
they're fixing the visa.
wala pa, but I don't think they'll have a problem. He'll definitely get to play, and I'm sure he'll excel. He just has to get that shot more consistent, especially from the outside. It is Korean basketball, and they do love to shoot threes. So he has to shoot better threes. Maui Sam, I think we're gonna be unanimous. Magugulat ako if someone picks someone else, actually.
I picked Jake Figueroa, Maui.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, tingin ko na brainwash na ata ako ng Lasal. I want to go Mike Phillips, but it's si Jake Figueroa. And I think it's two things. Number one is playmaking. And number two is expanding his mid-range and three-point shot. I think that's the main difference maker for Figueroa this year. That's why he was a more lethal offensive player. Because we always knew that he was a good defensive player. We always knew that he could get blocks, rebounds, steals. The main thing that really changed is why he was able to unlock a different part of his game is yung shooting niya. Free throws, mid-range, three-point shooting, and of course yung playmaking. I think that's what really separated him this season. Him being able to know when to have that on-off switch button and know when he had to facilitate for his teammates. I think that's the one of the main reasons maybe why nakalamang siya kay Caballero when it came to scouts from the KBL. I think they were the two people that was considered for that role, for that slot. And it's a very good story, yung story ni Figueroa. It's one that's not very common nowadays. Diba? Somebody who completes that 5 years, somebody who transitions from a big man position to a wing guard position in the seniors division. If I were a 6'2", 6'3" guard, power forward or center in the junior ranks, I'd probably look at yung trajectory ni Figueroa every season. And ang ganda kasi it all ended with him getting a chance in the KBL. Not just getting to be a pro in the MPBL or in the PBA, but bigger horizons. Diba? Who knows? Maybe he blows up in the KBL, gets to the B League. Anything can happen, diba? Much like KQ, Figueroa has shown tremendous growth on a year-to-year basis, which I'm hoping he will be able to continue.
On that note, I think similar to KQ, 'di ba? Yung he has shown yung versatility niya this year. I think that's what makes him stand out. Na mention mo Maui, yung playmaking and yung shooting niya, which I think Maui, even ikaw, you called it out 2 years ago. Sabi mo, if only he can unlock yung shooting niya or be a better shooter from three, he'll take his game to the next level. So I think that was key for Jake Figueroa this year. I think underrated din yung leadership ni Jake Figueroa. Definitely the leader of the team. I've seen some of his interviews then. Very humble guy, nice guy then. So I think that's also something off the court you do appreciate from a guy like Jake Figueroa. And it seems like teammates love him dun sa mga interviews. Like, all they, all praise sila for a guy like Jake Figueroa. Definitely my MVP. Though, I guess Maui, na mention mo, you can make a case, obviously, for guys like Mike Phillips, who led his team to the championship. He got the statistical points, then also led his team to the championship. I think we also have to be fair to John Ray Pasaol. He played at an MVP level this
He
season,
did, but we can't give it
the
to
wins, eh.
someone who did not make the final four. Come
Exactly,
on,
I
come
was
on.
gonna say. But if you talk about the wins and the impact sa team nila, success
Deserve
ng team
naman.
nila, it has
Diba,
to
Sab?
be
Deserve.
Jake Figueroa, diba? Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Just to piggyback lang off what Maui said, yung his improvement in shooting opened up his game. Kasi yun na yung naging triple threat na talaga si Jake Figueroa. If you remember in season 87, he was aggressive, or yung strength talaga niya was going to the basket. You know, he could get to the basket at will. You know, he had a quick first step. He was strong. He had a strong upper body. He could jump out of the building. So going to the basket and finishing at the rim was his strength. But he didn't have an outside shot. I do
Yun
remember
lang yung go-to move niya, attack.
Yeah, exactly. And I do remember something, parang an interview with Kobe Bryant, the late great yung Kobe Bryant, my favorite player, when he was talking about si Kyrie Irving. When Kyrie was younger, he was a good scorer yung going to the basket. Pero once he figured out that he can shoot, mas naging complete offensive player si Kyrie, because now he was a true triple threat player from anywhere. When he got the ball, defenders essentially you had a choice to give up his jump shot or to prevent him from going to the basket or to challenge his jump shot. Diba? Same thing kay Jake Figueroa. The fact na kaya na niya to hit that outside shot, not as consistently as we want him to, but yung mid-range definitely nandun. Mas nag-open up yung floor for him. You pair that up with improved yung playmaking. Totally different player na siya for this season, which was what we envisioned for him when Kian Baclaan left. Diba? When Kian Baclaan left, alam nating lahat na si Jake Figueroa na yung magiging number one guy sa NU. Pero nung season 87, parang may kulang pa. Kulang yung shooting, which because teams eventually alam na nila that Jake Figueroa is gonna go to the basket. So the fact that you could add shooting to your game is pretty important, especially in today's basketball.
Okay. Moving on. From the best player of the season, let's talk about coach of the year. The best coach of the season. Maui, who are you going with?
Ako two coaches I wanted to pick. Actually, if NU was able to get to the finals, si Jeff Napa talaga. But these two other coaches, si Coach Topex, of course, is the first one that I wanted to consider. And then si Sean Chambers is
Yeah,
another.
agree. I also
Uh,
had those two as my candidates. Go ahead.
so it depends. It depends for me. If you look at only the regular season, I'd probably say Sean Chambers. Kasi what was expected and how they perform was so crazy. I think it shows how they were in the first round to how they were to end the season is the reality, diba? I mean that was how crazy the season of FEU was. That was how crazy losing VJ Pre was, and that was how crazy they were able to adjust. We don't see a Pasaol breakout or a Mukompa resurgence. I think without the leadership of Coach Sean. So if you talk about that, definitely si Coach Sean, without a doubt, should have been my coach of the year. But after considering everything, I would still give it to Coach Topex, who was the 1-1 coach of the year. And I don't think, ang ganda kasi, he didn't even remember that he was gonna get an award. I think that just shows how selfless si Coach Topex. And it's a bit crazy to think, di ba, a few months ago that I think a lot of people were expecting him to be in the hot seat or even fired because they were struggling right off the gate. But him being able to navigate the whole season, all of the ups and downs, from maybe yung off-season hate ni Amos to all of the injuries to them struggling in the start and eventually still getting the championship in the end. In my mind, he should be, without a doubt, the coach of the year for me.
Gab.
Ako, I'm picking up the coach with the perfect record, si Chris Gavina.
Napaisip ako doon, perfect record.
Joke lang. Peace out, Coach Chris. But yeah, Coach Topex ako. I think
He
this
was
this
your baller.
award,
He was, tama ba? He was your baller of
yeah, he
the
was my
season.
baller of the season, and he should be the coach of the year. Taking into account everything that had happened to this LaSalle team on their way to the season 88 championship, it's no other coach but Coach Topex. Yung sabi nga ni Maui, if NU had gone to the finals, I probably
Easy
would have
pick.
said, oh, easily Coach Jeff Napa.
Kahit hindi
Outperform.
nag-champion, basta
Yeah, yung
nag-finals.
kahit hindi nag-champion sa amin, because he outperformed all preseason expectations. You couple that with uh, Jake Figueroa's rise, si Omar John's rise as a defensive juggernaut in the paint, and the fact that they were able to get the number one seed. I would have picked Coach Jeff Nava, but it had to be Coach Topex. I think I explained that all in our Ballers of the Season episode. This guy was, we were getting calls for him to get fired when LaSalle started 2-3. Diba? They were struggling early on in the season. Their defense was atrocious.
That was pre-injuries pa, before
Yeah,
the
pre-injury.
big
So they had a
injuries to
complete
Amos and
lineup.
ano. Yeah.
Complete lineup, and they were atrocious on defense. They had a losing record. It took a Kian Baklaan gruesome injury for them to wake up, for Jacob Cortez to finally step into the mantle as King Archer, and for them to actually get their shit together. He did a good job navigating through those tough times by empowering his role players, by unlocking guys like Abadam and Boris Marasigan, and to some extent si JC Makalalag when he took off his mask. I think we're forgetting that storyline. Diba? JC was
Yeah.
missing nearly
He was
every single one
horrible.
of his shots
It
with
was
wearing a
horrible when he had
mask.
the mask on.
Oo nga eh. Hindi siya parang si Kobe eh. Yung walang Mamba mentality si JC Makalalag eh. Can't do it with the mask on. But yeah, definitely when the guys came back, he had to reintegrate those two guys, si Amos and Baklaan. You couple that with the coaching masterclass he had in Game 3 of the finals,
Against one of the
unquestionably.
best coaches of the UAAP,
Against one
against
of the
Coach
best
Gold.
coaches, where when people were saying that he was not in the same class as Coach Gold with Monteverde, and he totally outcoached him in Game 3. So, Coach Topex, Coach of the Year, unquestionably for me. No other... Si Coach Sean Chambers, Maui pwede, pero I can't give it to someone who didn't make it to the Final Four, siguro. But yeah, your points by Coach Sean Chambers, I think I agree. I did give a baller of the season naman to FEU for really overachieving, especially nung latter half of the season.
2 rings for Coach Topex. Same
Exactly.
as Coach, same as Coach Goldwin.
Yeah,
And has
same as
brought
Coach
the team
Gold.
to the finals.
The
3
only
straight
thing that
seasons.
In
matters.
all his seasons. Yeah. Yeah, just to add dun sa mga nasabi mo, I think you mentioned this also in the previous episode. He outcoached Coach Gold nung Game 3 without his main assistant, si Kaloy Garcia. He was with Rain or Shine abroad. Um, it was also very funny because there were actually conversations na si Coach Topex daw was just too reliant on KQ. Diba? There were like, that was that conversation nung
There
start
was
of the
that
season.
thing,
Like,
man. Oh, diba?
it was a thing, diba? Na
People were
parang,
saying he's not really a good coach. He's really was being carried by KQ. That was a crazy take. I can't
and if
believe.
you zoomed in on those first few games, parang, oh nga, no? Parang, naku, pag hindi mag-Final Four yung Lasal, yari to si Topex, diba? So that was the conversation. So just to be able to navigate all through that turmoil. Tsaka bagong team to eh. I mean, this is a different looking team from the past two teams the last two seasons, diba? So definitely Coach Topex deserves to be Coach of the Year. I agree with you guys. I do agree with Maui. I went through the list of coaches, and the only other guy that I think deserves to be mentioned here is si Coach Sean Chambers, just because he outperformed yung expectations. When I look at the other coaches kasi, maybe the three other coaches who made it to the Final Four, you would think sila could be Coach of the Year. You guys mentioned Jeff Napa. Disappointed kasi they were number one all throughout, and then they lost twice to the number 4 team and eventual champions Lasal. So he doesn't, sorry Coach Jeff, but you don't deserve to be considered this year. Coach Gold, I think obviously Coach Gold, it was a very successful year for him and the team. They made it to the finals. They were the number 2 team. They kept the twice to beat. Despite having a not so good start to the season, 0-2, people were panicking. But with a guy like Coach Gold, yung expectation kasi talaga is championship or bust eh.
Yeah.
Medyo ganun. Especially with a very veteran heavy team. Like with the Maroon 5 and everything. The new recruits, diba? So, hard to give it to Coach Gold. See, same thing with Pido Harencio. I think UST had high expectations, especially being hosts of this season. They were talking about, oh, this looks like the last championship team that we had. May ganung storyline na, but they lost to UP. So didn't even make it to the finals. Coach Tab and Coach Nash, if you think about it, they had their moments. They had some exciting games. Beat some big teams. Both teams beat LaSalle. But they didn't even make it to the Final Four, which I think for coaches of their caliber, Coach Tab and Coach Nash level, dapat bare minimum mag-Final Four ka. And then, Gab, you mentioned it. UE, Coach Chris Gavina, we don't even need to talk
Kala
about
ko
that.
siya yung sasabihin mo eh.
So, I think Coach Topex, Coach Sean Chambers, honorable mention. Coach Topex, Coach of the Year.
Sorry, I want
Okay,
to say
move.
one last
Go.
thing lang about Coach
Maui.
Topex. Kasi you mentioned, di ba, people were talking, he's over-reliant on KQ and stuff. But people forget he was the one that was able to unlock the potential of KQ in this LaSalle team. Yun lang.
True. Okay, let's move on. Coach of the Year, MVP, let's go. Rookie of the Year. Sino ang pick nyo for Rookie of the Year? And I think this is going to be unanimous. Tama
It's
ba?
gonna be unanimous, and we're gonna
Ah.
agree with the UAAP, Sammy. And I'm wearing yellow in for his school. It's Colin Sokowe. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with that. I mean, just look at his stats. He was monstrous this season. He proved me wrong. He was dominant. He was one of the main reasons why UST made challenge for top 2. Had a bit of a losing streak in the middle, which really cost them that twice win advantage. But to make the Final Four again, to come this close to taking it to a second game against the UP Fighting Maroons, definitely si Colin Sokowe deserves it. He was dominant. I guess he's a decent free throw shot away from actually just being really dominant. Because imagine if he just make his free throws, he'll average 30. He'll get 30 points a game, I'm sure.
54% from the free throw line.
Yeah, Sammy, if he can just up that to 65 or 70, that's how many free throws that's how many points per game that he adds on. Like
With yung
5 or
volume of free throw attempts
Oh,
niya,
like
yun
that's
yung
that's
important.
like 5 or 6 free throws a game that you can add on top of his scoring average. Diba? So I don't know. The UAP is in trouble if Collins Okoye can figure out his free throw shot, or even just get like a semi hook from like a Raven Cortez hook shot from the from the extended paint area. Oh, he's gonna the floor is gonna open up so much. He's already unstoppable in the paint. Uh, Incredible. As Maui said, he outperformed our expectations.
Everyone, I
Having,
think.
diba? There were games he looked tired, and then he would go on to play the entire second half and would not sub out. He just crazy. I don't know how Coach Pido and his trainers got Collins Okoye to this level of conditioning that he could play close to the entire game at times. Diba? I remember that triple overtime game now. He played 50 minutes. 50. He was running out there for close to 1 hour. It is crazy how well conditioned he is. And yeah, he's the rookie of the year. Could have possibly been the MVP if they had made the twice to beat advantage or even challenge for the number 1 seed along with NU.
Maui.
I think very easy pick si Akowe. And I think it's understated how people underestimated, including us, how good he was gonna be. I think even yung scouting reports, scouting ng all of the teams in the UAAP, the mere fact that he did not get offers from all schools, and he was this kind of a beast in his rookie season. I think huge credit to strength and conditioning ng UST. How they transformed him from the off-season to the season was just so fantastic. And credits also to Collins. I think he's a fighter. He really likes to... He's really a warrior. Loves to give it all on the floor. Kaya very emotional. Loves to trash talk. Gets devastated when they lose. This is a type of player you want to build around. And I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure that maybe all of the UST fans are nagdonovena na that Collins Okoye doesn't decide to go somewhere else because we know what happens when you're the rookie of the year in the UAP. Just ask FEU.
FEU. Oh, jinx!
Just ask FEU from the previous season. Just when you look like a franchise cornerstone in the UAP, all other schools come knocking. But I hope he stays with UST. We want to get as many years as we can with Collins because the more years he play, the better chance that he gets eventually considered as a local. Diba? If they proceed with the naturalization process.
Especially for Collins, that he came from high school. He played high school ball here in the country. So good chance. Even better than Mike Phillips diba? So Mike Phillips played college basketball here solely, but he didn't play high school basketball. Si Collins Okoye played high school basketball in NU. So if he completes his at least 4 to 5 years in the UAP and playing college basketball,
who knows?
Diba? Who knows? God knows the Philippines needs bigs. We're not that rich in 6'10", 6'11" big guys, so we're gonna need them if ever. Sammy, I'm sure you're going with Collins also.
I'm going with Collins. You guys talked about it. I think what I appreciate about Collins lang, or what he sort of reminds me of, is really Ben Imbala. I know they're very different types of players, but yung gusto ko sa kanila yung they look bigger than everyone else, and yung mean streak nila. I think Collins has that like Ben Imbala mean streak. Kasi you have like FSAs like Ange Kwame or si Malik Diouf. Those guys are
Gentle
nice
Giants.
Matatangkad sila, mahaba sila. They're
Just ask, not according to Kenshin Padrones, who got whacked in the head.
not to Kenshin, but generally, like, hindi sila scary eh. But I think etong si Collins Akoe, Mau, you mentioned it, may mean streak to eh. He gets emotional, he has that mean streak. He's very competitive. Sort of reminds me of like a Ben Embala. And I like it I like it. It makes it more interesting for me. So I'm a big fan of Collins Akoe. So, actually, yung first three awards natin unanimous pa. So, let's go to our last traditional award. Let's go with most improved. And I think ito medyo maraming pwedeng piliin. So, let's start with you, Maui.
I'm going with the UAAP MVP for my most improved player for
Agree.
season 88. I think there was no player that made this much, that's this big of a jump. And the one or two more wins, and maybe sa Boleros MVP, I would have picked him also. Si Pasaol. All the hype was real. Diba? I think si Coach Sean Chambers was hyping up that Pasaol was gonna be a different type of player, to the extent that even si Kent Bazemore nasama sa conversation about their training camp in the US. And I think it's for real. Pasaol was just a menace on both ends of the floor. I love how it's not even just looking at the stat sheet, it's watching the game. How he impacts the game on so many levels. On his defense, on drawing fouls, on his improved playmaking. Parang completely different player eh. Di ba? We saw, this is why we always say on the podcast that the point guard slot is the position that is hardest. Because when a player starts to find this groove as a point guard in the UAAP, it's so fun to watch. Diba? Because you remember how he was when he was a rookie. Diba? Players like SJ Belangel, just look at him, how he was in a rookie. And I think it's crazy to say that Pasaol was on the same level lang maybe of a Bahay or even a Reynard Humamoy. We were speaking the same sentence. John Ray Pasaol with Reynard Humamoy a season ago, and that's how much of an improvement he made this season. Just all around improvement in all aspects of the game. Defense, rebounding, points. Kahit yung steals I think he led the league in steals. That's why he won MVP. He led the league also in assists. That's why he really got yung statistical points. And to me, maybe it's still well deserved by Pasaol. You can make the argument that they did not make the playoffs, but they did what they could control, and that's why he also rose up sa ranks ng MVP in the statistical points in the UAAP. Is because they were peaking at the right time in the second round. Unfortunately, they couldn't. They did their best to control their outcome, but the UAAP is just too crazy last season with all of the crazy games, and we'll get to that later. But I love si Pasaol, and I think that he has international stint potential. Definitely.
Okay. My initial pick was John Ray. I mean, I think all across the board he increases numbers, but I'm not gonna pick him. I am gonna pick someone else who we did not see last season. Season 87. Season 86, he was there, but he was at the end of the bench. Ray Allen Torres of the Adamson Soaring Falcons is my most improved player. Watch him in season 86. You would not recognize this guy playing currently for the Adamson Falcons in season 88. What a leap in his game. He's now one of the main guards, and perhaps even better, perhaps the best guard that they have. And that's crazy knowing that they have guys like Matthew Montebon and Matt Erolon. I think he's their best guard. He's their best scorer, in my opinion. And he's hit big shots in this season. They put the ball in his hands. I think he increases scoring by a lot. And I know he averaged only around 3 to 2 points a game in season 86. And
he barely played.
He barely played. Yung bench warmer to now one of the main offensive options for the Adams Sonic Falcons. I think he averaged, I'm not sure, around 10 to 11 points a game. I completely forgot that, sorry. But yeah, he did increase his average so much. His minutes are way up. And just by looking at him, just by watching him play, you will be like, who is this guy?
Siya ba
And then
talaga
you will,
yan?
oh, siya ba talaga si Ray Allen Torres? Parang, this was not the same guy from 2 seasons ago. The guy 2 seasons ago was a spot-up shooter. You know ba? A guy na for spark minutes off the bench. And now you get this guy who's scoring 20 points in fourth quarter in overtime in a game against UST the second round. The guy tasked by Coach Nasrasela to isolate on Jerry Abajano and hit the game-winning three. You gotta be kidding me. It's come to a point actually when Ray Allen Torres has the ball. Kung ako yung opposing fan, takot ako na bigla siyang iinit. I had that same feeling in Ateneo Adams on round 2. Ateneo was up big, and then Ray Allen Torres just caught fire. I think scored 8 straight points in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, oh my goodness, he's gonna kill us. Because I've seen him do it throughout the entire season, so I was so scared. So he's become that kind of player for me. Think of guys like Sina JV Casio when it's the fourth quarter, you're scared. Diba? You're really scared when he has the ball. Oh my God, he's gonna make this shot. I feel the same right now for Ray Allen Torres because he's hit so many clutch baskets. He just goes on heaters in the fourth quarter. He's my pick for most improved player. As in, where did he come from? To be honest, where did,
UPIS.
diba? Oh, yes, Maui.
That's the crazy part.
Sa UPIS siya galing. Pero where in the hell did this improvement come from? Diba? Just crazy. And next season, with those 3 guards still intact for Adamson, I still think they're gonna try to push for the play-in. The play-in Adamson Falcons. Kaya pa nila, Maui. They're still competitive.
Sana naman hindi na
Chicago
play-in.
Bulls.
Natatag na
Of the
sila sa
year.
Chicago Bulls of the
Ayun lang.
UAAP.
Nawala si Cedric Manzano, Maui. So medyo malaking hole yung kailangan nilang i-fill this off-season. But yeah, Ray Allen Torres, salute you, man. You gave us some of our best moments for this season. I think if you watch the highlights for season 88, you'll get a lot of Ray Allen Torres.
Ganda pa ng pangalan no? Ray Allen
Yung
Torres.
pa yung pangalan, Ray Allen.
Exactly.
No?
Yeah. I just want to say, Sam, ang ganda kasi this is a guy that played, I think, Team B. That was his gap year. And this just shows the value of sometimes sitting out for a season and assessing everything and trying to get their groove in the Team B. Diba? It's so completely different from what current players do. Diba? Most of them just trying to find other homes, other opportunities. And Ray Allen Torres proves that this is still a path that could eventually lead to a good UAP career.
Sometimes you just have to trust the process. Take it from Joel Embiid. Trust the process. Sammy, who's your pick?
Process going for the Sixers now. But anyway, I love both picks. I think I just wanna add, medyo napag-usapan ko rin si John Ray earlier for the MVP discussion. For Ray Allen Torres, I do agree. I love that pick, Gab. Regarding the points, he averaged 11 points a game, slightly under their top scorer in Cedric Manzano, 11.7 points. I did a quick check. So, he was the second leading scorer of the team. Gab, talk about comeback player. From bench warmer
Diba?
to second leading scorer of the team. That's crazy. I don't think any of us or the other podcasts expected that from a guy like Ray Allen Torres coming into the season. So, ganun siya ka bigat, no? I do also want to shout out Coach Nash Rosella for developing guards, diba? He's known for developing guards even nung time niya with FEU. So, you have guys like Ray Allen Torres surprising us. Si Mati Erolon was also a surprise. Yung jump niya, Gab, you were high on him when he was new, but he also improved from 3 seasons ago to last season. So, shout out to Coach Nash for making really good guards or turning these parang rocks into diamonds or something like that. But I'm happy you picked Ray Allen Torres, Gab, because he was on my list, but he was not my pick. Um, my pick is someone that I think during the preseason pa lang, we sort of talked about him as a potential breakout player, as a guy who surprised us nung preseason because of his improvements. I am going with Jello Crisostomo. And preseason
Ooh.
pa lang, he was a huge surprise for us, especially yung three-point shooting niya. I think that was the kind of similar to a guy like Jake Figueroa, sort of a wing power forward who developed his three. Kasi before he was um, not really known as a shooter, di ba? He was known more as a parang athletic forward or wing guy na hindi talaga scorer. But this season, um, nag-expand yung game niya. And I think one of the biggest things, yung three-point shooting niya, I just checked yung stats niya. Sa team, at the very least, he's like, um, with the guy, based on the guys that played the most minutes, he's their best three-point shooter. He shot 30% from three with 50 plus attempts. So that was, I think, a huge leap for him this season. And I really like yung size ni Jello Crisostomo. I think he has the potential to become a superstar for UST, a potential to maybe make it to Gilas. I also picked him as a SEA Games candidate sana because of yung size niya at like 6'4", 6'5", can stretch the floor, can defend multiple positions. And we talked about si Collins Akowe being the next big superstar for UST next season. I think the other guy that people should be worried about in UST is si Jelly Crisostomo, especially with Nick Cabanero gone, Fortsky gone. I think it's going to be Akowe and um, Jello Crisostomo leading this team. So I have him as my most improved for season 88. Maui, alam ko high ka with on Crisostomo din. So anything you wanna add?
Yeah, I think the main thing he did this season was really raise yung ceiling niya. I think si Gab would say the same, that this guy potentially has Gilas potential with his size and outside shooting, and if he can continue to develop yung playmaking, dribbling, and I think yung perimeter defense niya, I mean, the sky's the limit. He could be in Japan or in Korea after next season. If there was a guy that people should look out for as a potential dark horse MVP candidate for next season, I think it has to be Crisostomo.
Wow! Calling it now. I love it, Maui. January pa lang, yung may paganyan na si The Prophet. Ano ba yan?
You heard it here first.
Okay, let's move on to our... What's the next award, Sammy? The Comeback Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. So, I think we have to define this for some people.
Sige.
So, these are guys who
special
took...
award to eh.
So, yeah. So these are guys... This is a Bolero Special Award. So, these are guys who took a year off, whether through residency, academics, what else? Injury. So, guys who we haven't seen for some time and have come back this season and made their mark. So, Sammy, I want to know your pick for Comeback Player of the Year. Ikaw naman yung mauna for once.
Okay, actually, mabilis lang yung sa akin because I had Ray Allen Torres as one of my top comeback players of the year. So you talked about him already. A big surprise talaga na he came from becoming a bench warmer to the second leading scorer of the team. The other guy that I picked, although Gab, you mentioned technically hindi siya comeback player, was si Kirby Mongkopa. But I do wanna
That's
sort of
cheating.
mention.
It is not really a comeback player.
He's
Pero
not
sige, pwede na
technically
rin.
not a comeback player because he is a rookie. But I do want to give him a shout out because as you guys all know and nakwento din sa atin ni VJ Preto, he got injured, diba? He was out for like 2 years, could not play.
Off-court injury. Freak accident.
freak accident, scary motorcycle incident, accident. Baka na Jay Williams na siya, 'di ba? Yun yung nakakatakot eh. So for me, coming from that injury and becoming like this surprise player for FEU, I do want to give him a shout out as a comeback player. And I think John Ray pa sa All Sleep was huge in carrying FEU to out outperforming yung expectations nila. But I think the other factor for FEU's quote-unquote success this season was Kirby Moncopa and how he just kept getting better. Actually, nung preseason, parang off pa eh. You can see he was out of shape. But even the
Start
of
ng
the
season,
season,
Sammy, was on the
start of the
bench.
season, he looked out of shape. He came off the bench. But eventually, Coach Sean Chambers just could not keep him out of the lineup because he was
It,
that
it,
good.
it was either he
Playmaking, the
couldn't.
rebounding, the scoring. Ganda.
Versatility.
It
Versatility.
was either he could not keep him out of the lineup, or he or Coach Sean Chambers, you had enough of Aaron Baguno. It's either one of those.
So yun. So Kirby Moncopa also was like, I really wanted to push him here. I I mentioned other guys also, but sige, kayo muna before my honorable mentions.
Sige, Maui, you go.
Yeah. I can't believe na malapit na matapos sa award show and wala pang Jacob Cortez. But quote-unquote honorable mention na lang siya for comeback player there because he used to play for the UAAP and no UAAP team recruited him
Yeah,
from the high school division.
Crazy.
Oh,
Diba? So I just had to say that
good storyline, yeah.
that's how crazy to being maybe the best player or one of the best, if not the best player. You can have opinions about it, but yeah, I will pick his teammate who was instrumental. Without him, I don't think LaSalle would have won the championship this season. That's how important he was this season. From a bench warmer, don't tell me that he was an integral piece from the school that he got from the school he originally came from in the UAP college. Definitely Luis Pablo. I think yung what he brought to the team was yung grit, energy, and just willing them to getting crucial rebounds, hitting crucial shots, being that help defender, just being basically what LaSalle needed. I think this is why people raved about Luis Pablo when he graduated as an MVP from the NCAA nung high school. He's a do-it-all forward. I think he's probably, if he develops his outside shot and he continues to improve defensively, I think the sky's the limit for this guy. I think what he earned back this season is yung ceiling niya. Ceiling that he could play outside the Philippines. That MVP ceiling from high school. I think Luis Pablo is primed to have a big season next year. If I were our friend Mason, medyo kabado na ako because I think a lot of the minutes will go to Pablo at the 4. I think LaSalle will look to reinforce their front court with a good FSA. Maybe Agodane is one. Maybe who knows who's the other one will get
Si
into that.
Mandiria o si Adams. Yung mga
But they have a lot of options. So I think that 4 slot is, I'm not sure if si Amos will have enough to beat that as a 3-point specialist. Yung versatility kasi ng Luis Pablo this season. And I like that he's very intense. Playing on the court, very emotional. And it just shows yung profile niya as a player talaga. This guy deserves to win an award this season. Because without him, I don't think LaSalle gets to the Final Four. Maybe
I love that
si
pick.
Coach Lopez wouldn't even be the coach of LaSalle without Luis Pablo.
Totoo yun, Maui. Coach Topex should thank Luis Pablo for keeping his job, no? But yeah, I had Luis Pablo as one of my candidates for comeback player of the year. Ang ano ko lang, he's always, sa UP lang siya talagang nagkaka-best really good games. Diba? I think we mentioned this during our Ballers of the Season episode.
Yeah.
He only has good games against his former team, the UP Fighting Maroons. But it is
Buti
the biggest
na lang sila
stage.
nagkita sa finals, Gab.
Oo nga eh, di ba? Kasi in all other games, talagang hindi mo mararamdaman yung effect ni Luis Pablo. Like in the NU series, uh, he wasn't really felt, or his numbers they didn't pop off. He didn't have really the biggest of games. Pero against UP, when the game mattered,
Iba yung glow.
iba yung intensity ni Luis Pablo. And I'm sure a lot of UP fans and the UP players and teams are having FOMO for Luis Pablo because they could have really used him, to be honest.
May
Diba?
missing piece din.
You know, meet him, especially with the departure of Torculas and Lopez. Si Lopez due to pro, si Torculas due to transferring to San Beda. They could have used another guy in Luis Pablo. And tama, Maui, I'm not buying those who were saying na he was actually part of the rotation in season 86. No, bakit ka umalis? Bro, he only entered the rotation in the finals when he supplanted Sean Alter as the backup center. The whole elimination round, he barely played. So enough with he was a real part of the rotation. He was part of the future of UP. Come on, no, he was not. And he gave UP the business in season 88. Perfect revenge season. He didn't have a revenge game. He had a revenge season because nearly every UP game, he gave UP the business. Even to talk about the versatility, Maui, he defended Harold Alarcon. Diba? When they went to the three big lineup in game 3, he was the guy tasked to defend the best scorer on the UP Fighting Maroons, si Harold Alarcon. So definitely comeback player of the year candidate for me. But sorry, my winner for comeback player of the year is someone who we have criticized and who probably hates us a lot, Omar John. Diba? Like the guy we all said na pick Mo Diasana over him, raise NU ceiling. They're not gonna go anywhere with Omar John as their FSA, and he proved us wrong. They went to the number 1 seed with Omar John as their defensive backbone. I thought the preseason was just a preseason. Maybe biglang pang UAP season na mawawala yung play ni Omar John, or he'll just go back to being his old self. But no, he came in and proved that the preseason was right all along. He was amazing for NU the entire season. Defensively protecting the rim, grabbing rebounds, being a good help side defender, defending opposing centers really well. I do remember guys like Mo Konate and Precious Momoway had some of their worst games against Omar John. Heck, even Colin Sakoe in their first matchup in round 1 had his worst game against Omar John. So that just goes to show you how much of a defensive presence Omar John was in season 88. He was a huge reason why the NU Bulldogs got the number 1 seed in the elimination round. And not to discount it, he gave us one of the funniest moments of the season when he did the Mick Pinisi. Nag-Mick Pinisi siya when he got elbowed by Boris Manasigan. The delayed response, looking at the ref even if the ref was looking, and then he fell down. One of the best acting moments of the season from Omar John. So I think, Omar John, you are my comeback player of the year.
I love it. I had him as my honorable mention, si Omar John. I agree with you. One of the reasons why NU was number 1. I think yung one thing that really changed for Omar John, yung skill set, yung talent, nandun naman even before. But I think kahit si Coach Jeff Napa mentioned, yung level of maturity niya, umangat na. He became a lot more mature na. Wala na yung pilit niya from before. Basta yung giggle factor niya.
Picked his spots. Yung tama ka sa amin, basketball IQ and maturity, knowing when to attack the basket, knowing when to take yung mga mid-range niya, knowing when to give it up, diba, to guys like Jake Figueroa. Steve Nash, Jolo Manansala, and to his teammates. So, tama. Yung talagang the game sort of slowed down for Omar Jan for this season. And I think it's gonna be the FSA also. Well, one of the FSAs for NU next season. Who knows kung sino yung isa pa, yung baka si Mo Diazana will make a comeback.
Yeah. So I love the pick. Also just wanna mention na kalimutan ko sa MIP si Paul Francisco din from NU. I think was really good for NU this year. Yung 3-point shooting and yung defense niya.
Si Insan.
Si Pinsan.
Insan killed Ateneo in round 1. I distinctly remember. We watched that together, Sammy, at
Both
your
rounds, I
house.
think. We watched
Yeah.
that together, yes. Don't
We
remind
were
me.
so pissed after.
Birthday ko yun, don't remind me. Panira ng araw. Okay, let's go to our last award and then maybe let's do like honorable mentions or funny moments. Let's go with Game of the Year.
I love this award. So
Okay.
many to choose from.
Marami. Gab, baka you wanna list down like some of the best games of the season before
Yeah,
we give your award.
when I was thinking about this award, I had to look back at all the memorable moments for this season. Sige, siguro I'll give some honorable mentions that maybe you'll pick some from the triple overtime in Blue Eagle Gym, the banger at Blue Eagle Gym. Maui, you and I were present.
The only Blue Eagle Gym
Yeah,
game day.
after teasing it in the preseason that we'll have more games at the Blue Eagle Gym, we got
Can't
one.
believe, after that banger, walang naging game nung second round.
Diba? They had one game, but it was triple overtime. Maui, you and I were there with our friend Nico Rocha. We were going crazy at what was happening at that triple overtime game. The shot making by both teams. Forsky Padrigao going back to his old stomping grounds, hitting big shots against Ateneo. Jared Bahay completely taking over in the first two overtimes. Colin Sakoe being tired at halftime and then suddenly playing the entire second half and the three overtimes.
Grabe.
Ay, bad.
Grabe
Diba?
talaga yun.
Grabe, the roller coaster of emotions. And what we were si Nick Cabanero suddenly waking up in the third overtime. Jared Bahay in the second overtime just I think scored nearly every point for Ateneo. Before he injured his shoulder, he was hitting crazy threes. Diba? I do remember he even got fouled twice and what was not called. Yung isang three niya was called a 2. It took long to review. I do remember that. Si Jello Crisostomo had some putbacks and a layup. Just crazy game. Siguro, the one thing that was a dent in this game, the third overtime was kind of a sleeper because wala na si Bahay. He was injured. Ateneo had no
Na
gas
lahat.
left. Yeah, it had no gas left in the tank in the third overtime. They were done. Nearly everyone was cramping. So siguro yun lang, and UST dominated the third overtime. Siguro yun lang yung anticlimactic part of it. Siguro if we had a buzzer beater in triple overtime, this would definitely have been game of the year. Other game of the year candidates for me, Ateneo FEU, the first game of the season which went to overtime. Jared Bahay rescuing Ateneo. I do remember they were down 6 in overtime. And then Jared Bahay just hit those threes.
With like a minute to go or
Yeah.
something like
Oh,
that.
and then we thought it was over when kay Manny Ladi you hit that 3 which he shouldn't have taken. Remember that? And, they had time on the shot on the clock, but he took a quick 3. We were all like, "What are you doing?" And then Joric Bautista just continuing to hunt Ateneo with the off-balance, off-the-glass 3. The clock not starting.
Nag-time travel siya eh, no?
Diba?
Nag-flash
Oo.
siya eh. Tumigil yung oras. eh.
Travel.
Tumigil yung oras and he hit that off-the-glass jump shot to send it to OT. That was a crazy game. All three of us were in attendance for that. That was crazy. That was a crazy way to start the season. UP Adamson round 1. The Raylan Torres shot over Jerry Abadiano.
Ray Allen Torres shot.
Ray Allen Torres. I'm sorry, Rayland. That was not you. UP-UST in the Final Four, the shot by Terence Fortea, the two shots by Nick, one got blocked by Francis Noruka and one missed. The and Harold Alarcon, you throwing it up in the air. Still a lot of time remaining.
Munti ka na.
You Forski Padriga almost getting it if not for Jerry Abadiano. That was a crazy game too. Dami. But my pick is UST Adamson round 2.
Round 2.
Cause that
Ay, hindi.
Overtime.
UST
97.
Adamson
pala.
the 4-point play by Matt Erolon,
Mhm.
Maui, yung in
That's
overtime.
crazy.
Diba? When UST was up by 8 up by 7 with 15 seconds left on the clock. And they still lost the game. Diba? I do remember there was a tap at half court. Adamson got the ball back. They gave it to Montebon on the corner to tie the game. Ray Allen Torres going bonkers in the fourth quarter in overtime. I think he scored 20 of his 28 points in the fourth quarter in overtime. He just went crazy. UST missing free throws. I think they missed 4 crucial free throws, and that ended up tying the game. And in overtime, UST was even on top to end this game, and they still missed free throws, which ended with a crazy Matt Erolon 3. This is one of my rewatchables for season 88. I loved rewatching this game just because of how crazy everything went. And we were all watching this on our TV screens. I think sa amin tayo sabay tayo nanonood. It's parang, what is happening? I was holding my son in my hand, like, what is this? Yung anak ko, Sammy, nagulat sa kamay ko dahil yung napasigaw ako sa taas ni Matt Erolon, like, what? I do remember that completely. That was a crazy game, and that's my pick for game of the year.
So I'll go next, Maui, because this was also my pick for game of the year. I do agree with Gab. A lot of games to choose from, but this was like the most surprising for me kasi ito talaga yung talo na nanalo pa eh. Yun yung moment na yun eh. Kasi tama ka, Gab. They were down 7 with like 16 seconds to go. Before that, I think ang dami ding dagger threes eh. I think 32 seconds to go, Padrigao wastes time. He finds Crisostomo for like a corner 3. Up 8, 32 seconds to go. Tapos, even before that, akala ko talo na eh. Yung may isa pa si Fortsky, nag-no-look siya. Waste time. 3 seconds to go. No-look kay Lemit.
Lemit, yung sa wing ata. Yeah.
Sa wing, di ba? Dagger 3 din yun. Parang I think that put them up by 7 with a minute to go. So, it's not like UST kept missing. They were actually hitting some of their shots. It's just that mas maraming na-shoot yung Adamson sa game na to. And what I like about this game was, this was a game where all the Adamson stars played really well. Cedric Manzano played well. You mentioned si Torres scored, top scored for the team. Si Montebon, people were questioning him all throughout the season. Nasa na ba si Montebon? Nawawala siya, diba? But this was one of the best Montebon games. He hit like 3 threes in the last like 2 minutes to help them send the team to overtime. Si Mati Erolon lang like did not have the best game scoring wise, but he hit the game-winning 4-point play.
And to remind everyone, Sam, he missed the free throw.
He missed the free throw,
which gave UST the chance to waste time, but it still gave UST a chance.
Yeah. But hindi na shoot yung half court, full court heave ni Fortsky. So, I loved na all the Adamson stars played really well here. And also, before that game-winning 3, they won this game with defense, which is yung, alam naman natin, ito yung identity or brand identity ng Adamson. I think in the possession before the game-winning 3 by Mati Erolon, they had like 3 blocks. UST had like 3 attempts. Si Medina blocked Caballero, and then
si OJ
Ojerique blocked
Crisostomo, and Manzano blocked
and
Fortsky.
Yeah, Manzano had that third block. So this is a classic Adamson game. And I do remember, I think, the game before this, yun yung classic Coach Nash game na parang natalo sila. They lost a close game, if I remember correctly. I forget the team. And then nagreklamo si Coach Nash. Sabi niya, the refs did not give us a chance to win. Parang, give us a chance to win. He had like a statement like that na parang, sana man lang binigyan kaming chance to win. Ganyan-ganyan. And so, they bounced back with this win na it was a crazy overtime game. Imposible talaga. For me, it felt like that na parang, oh, this is going to be UST's game. But they figured out a way to win. So, that's why this is game of the year for me. It was that crazy. Maui.
Yeah, actually, I think what really added to the surprise is Adamson, di ba? Going on that scoring spree to end the game. Di ba? There are quarters that Adamson doesn't even score. Double figures. Di ba? And then they go on that crazy end game, hitting multiple three-pointers of good execution. But,
Actually, good point. Baka ito yung highest scoring game nila of the season or of the Coach Nash era. 97 points, almost 100 points.
hindi coincidence against UST. But, yeah, ako, I'll be Homer on my pick. I will pick the first triple overtime game in the Final Four era of the UAAP. That Ateneo UST game was crazy, and it still baffles me to this day that the UAAP did not have more games in Blue Eagle Gym. I don't know if it was a logistical issue or whatever. That was so much a crazy game. I even spoke to some of the players from Ateneo, and they felt the energy on that from that arena was just unmatched. And I think maybe it's kaya nakuha ng Ateneo yung Gilas game. Yeah, maybe that's one of the reasons why they got the Gilas game. The energy in Blue Eagle Gym is just electric, and I cannot wait for Ateneo to be the host of the UAP because I think Ateneo will maximize the use of the Blue Eagle Gym. I think it's warranted. That game was crazy. I don't know if yung bias ko is coming from the fact that I watched live with Gab and Nico, but kakaiba. Goosebumps that game, and the energy. Yung acoustic siguro, Gab. Diba you always talk about the acoustics?
Yun eh. It's so loud.
Diba you always talk about the acoustics of an arena. Why Araneta is one of the best arenas in our opinion, and I think Blue Eagle Gym matches that energy. And the fact that the arena is very limited when it comes to seating capacity just adds more fuel to fire. Talagang mga diehard ang manonood. That game was crazy. Me, Gab, and Nico, musical chairs kami the whole game. I don't think I'll ever forget that experience. We probably moved 10 times.
Punong-puno eh.
Punong-puno. And I think yung expectations from the first half, I think it added na si Colin Sacowen looked gassed nung first half and was still able to play 50 minutes. I think it added fuel to the fuel also for me na game of the year is because this is the time that I really thought that Ateneo lost the season. Maybe you could argue na yung Lasal game or yung NU overtime, but I think this was the game that they were fully exposed. Kimani Ladianis was a non-factor. A lot of people were getting mad at Kimani for launching so many three-pointers. I think this is also the game si Escobar showed that he will be a good player. But I think this is really the day that the season of Ateneo ended. Diba? When Bahay tore his shoulder, and I think this is the last game Divine Adili played for a long time. So definitely this is game of the year material for me. Diba? When can you say that you've watched a triple overtime game live?
True.
At ang haba nun. I think we started at 4. We ended around mag-8 na. Nung
Sarado na.
umalis.
Sarado na yung gate ng La Vista. Yung Cupertino gate.
Ano yung game before pala?
UE Adamson.
UE
UE Adamson.
Okay. Gab, Any other awards that you want to give out? Maybe honorable mentions because nag 1 hour na rin tayo.
I do have. I did prepare a who uh player of the year. And it's
We did that
surprisingly,
in previous episodes.
yeah. It surprisingly did not come from the UE Red Warriors because I watch a lot of UE Red Warriors no off season. So halos kilala ko na lahat ng player nila. The player na who player ko is actually came from the FEU Tamaraos. Si Alcen Makapagal. Like, yun talaga na pa, who is
Who?
that? And he was playing, I think, one of the backup center minutes over Miguel Onan. Like, what? Si Miguel Onan, hindi backup center. This guy Makapagal is? As I had to look up, who is this Alcen Makapagal, dude? And apparently, he's been in FEU for quite some time. I think he tore his ACL last season, so he wasn't able to play. So he was my who player of the year. Siguro a funny moment of the season. One, of course, is si Omar John doing a Mick Pinisi. The other one is Jet Manuel. I think in the NU Lasal game, he they
Alam ko na.
they flashed the former Lasal players, and Jet Manuel was like, and here are the former Lasal players with their significant others. There's Jeron Teng, there's Kirk Lohera, and there's Andre Carajot, and he is alone.
Sama mo talaga kay Andre Carahot. Grabe
And
ka.
yung nakakatawa mo dun, Jamie Alonso was also there, and he was also alone, but Jet Manuel did not call it out. So, tinarget niya si Andre Carajot.
May galit ata si Jet Manuel kay Andre Carahot. Eh, no?
So that was one of my funnier. I will link that reel down below. I think it's still up. So if you,
Nagtrending yan sa Facebook din. Di ba, Gab, we were enjoying the comment section.
yeah, it was so funny. It was so and one other thing is the delivery of Jet Manuel was excellent because he paused. He paused. He didn't know if he was gonna point out that Andre Carajot was all alone. And he said, and that's Andre Carajot. And he paused. And he is alone.
Pinag-isipan niya muna eh.
Yeah,
Pinag-isipan niya muna eh. Pero
he
yung
let it
intrusive
melt
thoughts yung nag-take over eh. Sinabit niya talaga eh.
Yeah, so I didn't want to go in this episode without mentioning that moment because it's saved forever. That was so funny. So funny. Andre Karakot, I hope you find someone. Or baka meron na at baka di na sumama
Baka
sa
meron
game.
na, hindi lang sumama.
Oh, diba? Pero dalhin mo sa game, Andre Karakot. Yung pakitaan mo si Jet Manuel. Come on.
Sa Village Bar yan. Nakita ko one time.
Sige, let's end it there. 1 minute lampas 1 hour na tayo. That's it for today's episode, the Boleros Season 88 Awards. Please stay tuned for more episodes. We'll talk about off-season content. We'll also do more NBA coverage, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet, please watch our NBA on Disney Plus episodes where we talk about the NBA games on streaming on Disney Plus. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for all your support. Before we end pala, just wanted to say thank you for all your support last year to everyone who commented, who liked some of our videos, to new subscribers, old subscribers that continue to watch. We do really, really, really appreciate you guys. To all our sponsors who helped us all throughout last season, thank you. We appreciate you. To those that bought caps, na-deliver na namin lahat. So, should be okay. All colorways are still available, so check them out. Link will be in the description below. Buy your Boleros caps for start the year right. Buy your Boleros caps. Ano connection nun? Anyway, let's go. It's getting late. Bye-bye. Thank you. Happy New Year. Ingat.